Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Nadex Morning Analysis, where we're going to take a look at a couple of hot spots in the markets today, try to identify places you might want to look for potential trading opportunities. My name is Todd Rich. I am with Nadex. My good friend Brian Caprice from Keep Trading Simple is with me as usual. Before Brian and I jump into it, I do need to share the disclaimer that trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for everyone. That any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk, and that this is an educational session. Please do not construe anything Brian or I say as a buy or sell recommendation. We are doing this for your educational purposes. All right, so the story, it's not a lot going on today. Top line news, unemployment claims came in and they are lower. So that's certainly some good news. But we're seeing continued weakness across the board in U.S. equities. In fact, we're seeing continued weakness across the board in just about everything. Everything's slightly red this morning. So we'll take a quick peek at the Dow. I know another headline story that's just kind of eye-grabbing, but it's not really impacting anything at the moment, is the ship that is stuck in the Suez Canal, mostly because that's a major thoroughfare for trade. $10 billion worth of goods go through there every day. Well, not for the last 3 days, but it's also a major shipping thoroughfare for oil. A lot of oil gets shipped out of through there. So let's just kind of go through this quickly. Brian, let's go ahead. You can kick us off. We could talk a little bit about unemployment claims, and then let's take a look at the Dow.
Yeah, so unemployment claims, they came in at 684. They were supposed to be 727, or forecast to be 724, so it was lower. It was what we would call a, quote, split number. They had to readjust last time. And again, I don't know how they do this. It's like kind of like, well, you didn't just look at the report, but they had to make changes. So they had to increase it. It was supposed to be 770,000, and they increased it higher last time. So it is kind of one of those split situations. The final GDP number coming in at 0.2. This is a really weird number. As you can see, final GDP doesn't really miss often. The fact that it's a miss at 4.3 versus 4.1, the market's really not looking at that as going, is that real? It's probably going to get adjusted back down again, because this just doesn't really happen, especially by 0.2. I mean, it's like the final revision. So, as far as news goes today, there's not much there. We do have a couple different FOMC members speaking. Like I said it yesterday, there's a lot of FOMC members speaking now. I don't know if everybody's trying to keep their job or what it is, but everybody's getting involved. Everybody's got there's some type of speech. So, as far as the Dow goes, this is where we were sitting yesterday. And if you guys remember, if you had attended the Tuesday morning session, we talked about this 32,300 level with being a great level. I told you guys, look for call spreads. If you would have grabbed the call spread at 6 when it printed, you guys had a great day yesterday. Went all the way up, ended up going like 350 points or something like that higher. This is where we were yesterday, so you're already profitable. It went right up. It grabbed the 32,645, right? 647 to 691. Again, level we had talked about. We had seen sellers coming in, and it drove all the way back down to that same level. And it took a little pop, but remember, we have the 4-hit rule, and we've hit 4 times. And what did it do? It dropped. Now, since it has had the drop, and again, this drop started at about 6:30 this morning. So again, the news really hadn't been out there. We are seeing a pattern that we do like. We were expecting the zone to break. Right? It is pushed down. It is now based below it. Now it's kind of where we're starting to look for, hey, listen, can we get a decent Harry Potter pullback and then kind of a push lower? Now, hopefully this is not already the pushback. Hopefully we haven't missed it. But again, there is an opportunity in there. And again, if you're looking at this, if you guys look on the right-hand side of the board, pretty much everything is red except the VIX. Right? The VIX being up means that there's a little greater volatility out there today. And the dollar index, which is up, which is also tends to be not good for everything else out there. And again, the reason why you're seeing that is because a lot of the comments that Powell made yesterday, mentioning that we are seeing some inflation, but we told you it'd be transient, right? But then he makes a comment about how we want to see actual versus just forecast. Right. I don't think that the market actually believes that this is transient. I think the market believes it is here. And remember, we start seeing inflation. The first thing that comes up is raising interest rates. That makes the indices and pretty much most things go down. Higher interest rates are not necessarily as good, but again, they're driving some pressure back into the dollar. So we'll see if we can get a pullback into this 32,250-ish range. I do think that we need to be watching out for 32,000 today. It is a big psychological number. It's got 3 zeros in it, not including the cents in there. But I think it's with everything going on, the negative sentiment that we're hearing out there, the fact that we don't really have much more news today, that the unemployment numbers may be just enough to kind of pop it higher. But I'd be looking for shorts.
Yep, and I do think it's interesting that Powell did say the rising interest rates. Is the market really interpreting the economy getting better?
And
right?
and understand too, he has to say those comments. He can't say. I mean, he has to say this transient. He says, "Yep, we're seeing inflation. We're getting ready to raise interest rates." He'll crash the market instantaneously. So remember, he has to temper everything that he says, and saying that, "Oh, we expected to see some, but it's transient." But is it? I mean, he can't say inflation's here. We're going to raise interest rates a lot sooner because the U.S. is just not quite there yet.
Right. No. Yeah. And it would absolutely right. It would crush the markets. So this level up above, which Brian had called out, was a great play. It's now obviously come through this level. We're sort of in no man's land at the moment, so you got to wait and see. What do? You wait and you see. If it comes down to this 32,000 even level, how could you play it? I mean, there's a knockout here where you could, if it comes down there and you wanted to try to catch a bounce, that's one way to do it. I mean, the floor is actually exactly 32,000. If you wanted to give yourself a little room to breathe, you got to choose which knockout you like. There's also call spreads, by the way, and I just want to share this with everyone. I'm going to quickly move over to call spreads, indices, and just down to the Dow, and I'll just grab the daily ones. It's because it's pretty easy. There's, as you can see, there's a 32,100. We'll just go right below 31,950. Look at that. So yeah, if it were to come down and you wanted to try to catch a bounce off this 32,000 even level, you could even take a look at some of these call spreads. Now, if it hits the floor, you're not knocked out. You're going to pay a little bit of a premium for it, but it's going to give you that optionality to potentially be right and see it come back. But the call spread is a daily call spread, while the knockouts actually are weekly, would go out through tomorrow. Let's go quickly over to oil. Let's just take a peek at it, just because everyone's talking about the Suez Canal and
sure, yeah,
oil, I mean, it's not affecting oil price much.
Not yet. No, and actually, it's funny. I looked at. I was looking up for some statistics for it. It says almost 19,000 ships passed through the canal in 2020. It averages around 51.5 ships per day. So you can see how much shipping and everything goes through. It's a very important port. And they said if you do have to go around the Cape, it takes an extra 10 days that you have to add. But question is there a demand for it? Is there, are we getting much from it? Don't know. But again, the news came out. We were sitting at the yellow box yesterday. We'd mentioned the last time we saw big amounts of sellers was up here at the purple, right around the 60, 70. You can see it came up just a little bit above, and we kind of had that, failure to go higher type scenario that we like. And again, after any big run up in price, again, if you guys haven't watched the webinar, go back and look up parabolic retracements. You guys will find it. This is one of those scenarios that it was a news-driven move based off of people's perceptions. Oh my God, the Suez, we're never going to get oil again, right? How much oil are we really getting from there? I mean, remember, we keep having this, the Gulf of Mexico is full of tankers. We pump plenty of it here. So, I mean, is it really going to hurt us that much? But here was the emotional response, and here was the pushback again. So right now, we're kind of, we're in this kind of 59.25 area. It is down 2.5% so far today versus where we closed yesterday. But it is an area where we had some stabilization. So, I mean, if I was going to look at this, I'd say, this is an area right here. That's not red. It should just be yellow. We've already turned it around once. It's been an area. Now, the question is it the best place for us to kind of really get into a position? And the answer is maybe, maybe not. Remember, the European session has been really the dominant factor right now for movement for oil. Today, and again, we can probably end on this, today is the European Economic Summit. If you guys don't forget me saying it yesterday, where is it? It's listed down here somewhere for Europe. Here it is, right here. Day one of the EU Economic Summit. We'll start to get headlines about what recovery looks like. If you're talking about oil and kind of what the recovery of oil looks like, obviously the European Union is going to have be a major player in that realm. So I would say kind of keep an eye on this one. Look for, kind of later in the day. When I say later in the day, I mean like noonish time frame at the end of their day. Start looking for any headlines with people digesting what recovery looks like. Remember, one day Germany's in a really bad situation. The next day, supposedly everything's good. We're not going to lock anybody down. But at the same time, we have Spain saying, hey, listen, the economic recovery, the stimulus has been really, really slow to roll out. And now we're dealing with this, this variant thing here. So every day there's a new different headline. And again, you can, the EU can't candy hook this one. So I would say see what we can do in this one. If we come in and we start basing sideways, then again, we're looking for a Harry Potter push this one back down. Whoops. I want to take that
lower.
Yeah. Have a push much lower down here. Back into the same area that we mentioned earlier in the week, this 57.25 range. I think it's well within range today. It's already moved a lot. That would, require another $1.50 move to the downside. But again, There's a lot of red over here and the dollar's moving to the top side. So it's kind of where we go.
Yep. No, agreed. All right. So with that, we're going to keep moving along today. Let everyone go get ready for the open in just over a half hour. You got any questions for Nadex? Reach out to us, customer service at nadex.com. Any questions for Brian? You can email him, support@keeptradingsimple.com. And I guess we'll just do a quick little recap. What did we talk about today? Where can you be looking at it? Yes, unemployment claims came in lower, which is good, but we're seeing equities all soft across the board, mostly based on the thought that interest rates are going to continue to creep higher because the market is seeing an economic recovery, and as interest rates go up, it makes interest-bearing assets a little bit more appealing versus equities. Oil, we did see that rally in oil with the Suez Canal thing, but people kind of are shaking that off now, realizing that's not really going to impact supply, and particularly here in the States, maybe more so in Europe. And then the EU Economic Summit is kicking off today. So that's something we're probably going to talk about tomorrow morning, as we start hearing some of that news come out and maybe some of these Forex pairs start moving around. Yeah. Brian, you got anything else to add there?
Nah, that's it. Just watch for headlines. And like I said, I think tomorrow will be the explosive day for the EU Economic Summit. We'll cover it in the morning.
Excellent. So with that, we will catch you all tomorrow morning. We will be back at the same time tomorrow morning. And good luck in the markets, everyone. Thanks.